It's been a while. Hello, how are you doing? Happy New Year. If I haven't spoken to you this year yet. It seems like ages ago, doesn't it, Christmas? It's like only 4 or 5 weeks ago. This video is a warts and all tour of all of my setups, including 2 brand new ones that I haven't showed anyone yet in any YouTube videos. So that's exciting. We'll start off with the 2 Scape Aligns. We'll go on to the Highline 400, then the Highline 300 cichlid tank, and then at the end I'll talk to you about my new setups and some exciting collaborations. Hope you enjoy it. Try and stay to the end and give us a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. It really helps the channel. What I'll do is I'll nip out my phone and I'll get the close-up footage as I talk about each system. Here we go. This is both of these actually are Scape Align 60s from Awase. Many of you may know Awase support my channel. I am their global ambassador. And this has recently been kind of rescaped a little bit since the last video featuring this tank. All I really did was move the wood and the rocks around. I was experiencing some really bad BBA, black brush algae. You can probably see some there. Let's zoom in a bit. You can see some there on the wood. That was covering quite a lot of the wood quite significantly, so I gave that a really good clean mechanically. And then I thought, whilst the wood and the rocks were all out, I'd just give it a new look. It's much more of a triangular composition now. The old style was much more island style, and the wood was much more vertical. So you can see the effect I've gone for with the wood kind of coming over like this. And I've added some small pieces of manzanita wood as well, just to add some extra detail. And I've also added some Hemianthus cuba, just as like an attaching plant wedged in between the wood and the stone and the individual pieces of wood. And then I've just added some tiny little plantlets of Marsilea here in the bottom there, and some Hygrophila phyllum, which is an interesting carpeting Hygrophila species. So this actual scape will be stripped down fairly soon, on February the 8th, which is a couple of weeks away from the time of filming. The empty tank will be used for an aquascaping workshop here in my home. So if you are interested in attending, there are still some tickets available. I'll leave a link in the description. It is tickets available to buy directly from my website. So fairly easy to do that. And if you're in the UK or if you want to fly over and you're available on February the 8th, then you're more than welcome to join. Refreshments and just a nice chill vibe, and watch me scape this Scape Align 60 from scratch. Really pleased with the progress. It's a beautiful kind of classic nature style aquarium. I won't run through each individual plant, but the main kind of attractive plants I would say are the Cryptocoryne spiralis red, which is quite a nice feature plant there in the background. And I love the way it kind of intermixes with the Sagittaria subulata, which is actually growing really tall, which is really interesting because in the Dutchscape, which we'll look at in a minute, it is staying much shorter and thinner. So it's definitely something different going on there. The only fish I do have in here are the platies. So these are platy babies, and I have a couple of adults in here. I did give some adults away as well. And I'm not really keeping like real proper, in inverted commas, display fish in these because I do turn them over quite regularly. I don't really like to keep rehoming fish. So when I buy fish and keep fish, I like to keep them for the long term these days. So yeah, just a really nice classic style nature aquarium. Regular kind of, I forget the gravel mix there, but it's just a regular kind of fine gravel. And I can't remember the name of the rock. I want to say it's mountain stone, but I'm not sure. There's a couple of pieces of Sirio in there as well, so we're mixing rock types in here, which we don't normally do in aquascaping, but I think it works okay. These are all filmed pre-maintenance, so I haven't done a maintenance session on these for 7 days now. So these are due a maintenance session either today or tomorrow. But you can still see they look pretty well kept. You can see some algae building up on the glass there, but nothing too serious. Yeah, just a lovely tank. Lighting is the Twin Star 600E, and the filter is a Biomaster 350. So there we go. That's the Scape Align 60, 8 hours a day lighting. I do have a backlight as well, and that actually illuminates my houseplants as well. I've got a little kind of sort of terrarium, I guess, down here as well, just from Acarus in here, and this is just a regular rubber plant, does well in low lighting, so it's okay for this area of the room. Okay, moving over to our Dutchscape. This is progressing quite well. There is a lot of changes that will be coming up in the plant choices and moving them around somewhat. But overall, the health is looking very good, and I'm pleased to see there's very little algae now. There are some issues though, so let's start off with those. We do have some melting, the crypt spiralis there. Quite a lot of the leaves melting back for some reason, and not sure why, because nothing much has changed. So that's a little bit disappointing. So I may actually swap that out for another species. I will do a complete update, separate video on this Dutchscape because there's a complete series dedicated to this, as you may know. Really happy with the Staragini Street, which is developing really well. The plants are all really healthy, really. There is a little bit of kind of nutrient deficiency maybe in the Hygrophila siamensis 53B, and it isn't growing very tall either. I do think the bright lighting, this is the 600S from Twin Star, the Type 4, is very bright, and it tends to promote more compact growth, and I think that's why it's not growing so tall. So probably going to actually change these species completely, the Crypt spiralis and the Hygrophila. Another interesting point to note is the use of a colourful plant here and a colourful plant there. Now that's a little bit of a no-no in Dutchscaping. We don't really want to have symmetry. So as you can see, they do look quite symmetrical. So they will be either moved or replaced as well. Marsellaire carpet is doing very well, although there is some weird algae kind of building up. It looks like small tufts of staghorn algae. I can just manually remove that, and hopefully it won't come back again. Lots of shrimp breeding in here, and there's a lot of cherry shrimp in the other tank and the other Scape Align breeding as well. And as you can see, just a couple of platies. I did put a load of ram's horn snails in here to deal with the algae, the diatoms, and they've obviously done a great job. And the biological balance has been achieved, I think, and the diatoms have died back on their own accord. I did add some Purigen to the back of the filter to aid with water clarity, which I think's done a good job as well. This does have significant build-up of algae on the glass compared with the other tank. I'll just show you from the side. You can probably see that algae building up slightly, and on that side as well. But considering there's been absolutely no maintenance on these apart from adding liquid fertilisers and feeding the fish every day, there's been no maintenance. I have topped up the water just slightly. I do see quite a lot of evaporation in these open top tanks. The backlight is a light ground with a blue film on it, as you can see. Looks really nice. I love the colourful, kind of vibrant nature of this scape in particular. Okay, moving over to my biggest scape at home. This is the Highline 400. Absolutely adore this Aquascape, and it's been a real joy to live with. Lots of videos on this Aquascape now. It's been running for over 3 years in its current kind of form, and it's got basically 3 groups of plants. We've got the swords in the background. That's the red diamond, Echinodorus red diamond, Echinodorus Hormonii red, and the beautiful Ocelot green, which has these little red flecks in there, so that's beautiful. And then flanked either side of the swords we have the crypts, just a mix of crypts here, mostly Undulatus red, I believe. There's some Wenditii species in there, some Willisii. There's even some Parva somewhere down there, maybe a Willisii. And then apart from that, it's mainly Anubias, as you can see. Anubias Petite's doing really well. Thin this out every few months or so. A couple of crypts in the foreground. This is the beautiful Cryptocorini nurii. Really beautiful colour and texture on there. Really interesting to see if you compare this specimen with this specimen. This is more mature. You can see the mottling is much darker on this specimen versus this one, so that's really interesting to note. Fish, if you're not aware, these are the Hyphessa-Bricon wadii, which is otherwise known as the blueberry tetra. Beautiful, larger tetra, very peaceful. It's a really good shoaling fish, really great for larger tanks. And there's a whole host of other tetras. We've got the Bolivian orange lemon tetras there. Oh, that's looking a bit sketchy, that blueberry there. You can see the markings. These fish will be getting quite old now, I would suggest. Some of them probably over 5 years old. We've got regular lemon tetras. We've got the bentosai tetras, which tend to hide away a bit more, similar to the bleeding heart tetras in terms of size and shape. And then, of course, the absolutely stunning blue angels, which were probably one of the best impulse purchases I've ever made. Not really a big fan of impulse purchases of livestock, but yeah, it was a good shout to get these, I think. And then at the top, we've got a few hatchets. Unfortunately, I think I had a 6 to start with, and I think I've only got 3 now. And what they did was actually, because they jump, they're known to jump very frequently, they actually jumped and then they fell down into here. I actually found them in the bottom of my cabinet in here. Here's the filters, 2 Awase Biomaster Thermo 850s. Got the older type here and then the new type, both with the coarse filter foam, pre-filter foam, and actually factory fitted sponges for the media. Everything, all the media and all my filters currently is just the supplied media that comes with the filters. Lighting is the Twin Star. These are the 140G units in the centre, then I've got a 120G at the back, and actually I don't have them all at the same time on maximum. I actually have, just to give you a bit more detail, the 120 at the back here, that's on for 10 hours on maximum, excuse me, and then the centre one is on for 8 hours on a medium intensity, excuse me again, and then the front one actually I very rarely use, but for photography and video I do have that on. I have them all on maximum for photos and videos just to get the best quality imagery. But yeah, I really love this tank, and there is definitely some algae build up there, you can see on the side. I could probably do with a surface skimmer. You can see some of those CO2 bubbles collecting on the surface, and I do run quite a lot of surface agitation on here. You can see I've actually fitted a lily pipe, a glass lily pipe there at the back, and I actually have it almost coming half out of the water. That really agitates the surface well. So that's attached to obviously one of the filters, and then let's see if we can get a close up of my CO2 kind of distribution. The second filter has the inline CO2, I don't know if you can see there, and there's the black nozzle there. That is actually pointing downwards slightly, so the idea is the CO2 microbubbles, which you can see coming out there, actually get kind of fired downwards a touch, and that hopefully gets the bubbles revolving all the way around equally around the scape and feeding the plants relatively, giving them equal distribution to the CO2. Oh, here we can see a goby. There's a couple of gobies in here. The blue neon goby is absolutely beautiful fish, really interesting. Do really well in mature setups where there's plenty of Aufwuchs, which is a German word. Aufwuchs are basically microorganisms, tiny little things that they're basically live food that the gobies really thrive on, and they're constantly grazing the surfaces of the rocks and the plants and the wood for those Aufwuchs. It's a funny word, isn't it? Aufwuchs. Aufwuchs. AUF. WUCHS. So that's the three kind of main planted displays I have in my gallery, sort of chill area. Here's Betty, she does like to lay on here when I'm working in here. I will just give you a brief kind of tour, if you like, of the area. So this is where I kind of tend to sit down and chill out, read a book, or just enjoy watching the aquariums. And then there's the big camera there filming. Hello. Okay, moving over to one of my latest creations. This is a waterfall, as you can see, very, very simple. I will be releasing a full video on this, but just to give you a quick rundown, it's ONF nano light, which is really cool, got a built-in stand, a small internal filter with a hose attached, which just pumps the water over the top of a little group of lava rocks, which I've glued together. Lots of, well, not lots, about 4 different species of plants, just attaching plants there. And yeah, just a lovely little feature. Just adds a nice little brightness to this area of the space. Moving over to my kind of workstation here, this is my computer, obviously, just a Mac Mini, quite a basic model. And this is one of the most recent projects I've been working on. This chap here is Ben Newell, otherwise known as Worcester Terrariums, and we created a bio bear together. Check out his Instagram, you'll see a really cool short video that he created with us in it, which was really good fun. Love Ben, had a really good day with him, got lots in common, and I'm sure we'll be doing more collaborations in the future. So yeah, this is my work area, standing desk, as you can see. I don't actually have a seat anymore, chair anymore. Find the ADHD brain much prefers to be standing, and task switching is much easier. I can just go to the computer, do a bit of work, and then just immediately to get on with something else. It sounds really trivial, but if I'm sitting down and then I start work, it's just, yeah, just trust me, it's just easier to have a standing desk, and I think it's more healthy as well. Yeah, just some charging things here, AirPods, camera batteries, Apple Watch charger, squeezer thing, just when I'm bored and want to, you know, make my forearms a bit stronger and my wrists a bit stronger. This is a remote control for my light here. So during the day I have the blue light on, which promotes wakefulness, and then in the evening it goes to red. That's pink, red. No, that's not. Where are we? Here we go. Red, red, red. There we go. So yeah, in the evening times I have the red light on, and turn obviously the ceiling lights off, which are actually quite bright. So yeah, that's kind of where I work. A few photos up there, got for my wedding, Tropica print up here. Bit of a nod to my Eastern philosophical kind of leaning here. Big fan of Toblerone. And then my new hobby, which I haven't really talked about yet, but I'm really into sim racing. So PS5, VR set, and I love Gran Turismo 7. And yeah, it's my new hobby. Play it for an hour or so most evenings. I love the live racing on the daily races, and really enjoying that. I've always loved racing cars and car sims as a kid, from the original Gran Turismo. When I was about, when was that, 95? So I would have been about 19, 20 years old. So I've gone, I only ever had a SNES, PS1, no gaming ever really, and then I've invested quite heavily in a fancy sim rig. So yeah, it's a real joy, I love it. I've got a little fan there to blow on my face, because wearing that for any length of time does make you quite hot. Kettlebell, 24 kilogram, which is about 50 pounds in weight. 24 kilogram kettlebell and a couple of push-up things there, just to keep me active and fit during the day. And then this is my main living space. We've got some beautiful moss art up here. We love our house plants. And this will be where we will be doing the home-based aquascaping workshop, which we discussed earlier. And then this is the bio bear, which I just showed you on the computer, and really, really love it, and very grateful to Ben for his guidance and supplying all of the plants and hardscape for this, and grateful to Awaze for supporting the project. What else can we show you? Another Tropica print here. This is my mister for all the plants. I mist all the plants, house plants every day. Some more plants over here. TV. I don't actually watch much TV, but in the evenings might sit down with the missus with a glass of wine and chill. This is the cichlid tank, which I absolutely love. My favourite fish tank ever. Had these fish over 5 years now. Actually gave quite a few away last year because it was getting overpopulated. Might give a few more away soon. Just look how big they are, and they're all hungry all of the time. And yeah, I love this. It's just, so I tend to sit here and just view the tank from here, kind of thing. Yeah, it's just lovely. I probably watch this more than the TV, to be fair. And it is a room divider, so we come around this side. And this is a warts and all. I haven't tidied the house or anything, so you'll see, you know, washing and things drying. So yeah, you can see it from this side as well. And this area behind me is the dining area, and it's also got my wife's work desk in the corner. She's away today working, so we've still got some snowflakes on the on the windows from Christmas because my wife loves the snowflakes for some reason. So yeah, that is a quick tour of all of my setups, my aquariums, terrariums, and I guess you'd call the waterfall a paludarium maybe. And yeah, a little bit of insight into how I kind of operate really. So yeah, I'm very, very lucky. I realise how blessed I am to have my hobby as my work as well. And yeah, a lot of creators have their own kind of studio, you know, separate from their home. But I have quite a lot of responsibilities at home. My wife has a very kind of high pressure job. So I do pretty much all of the cooking, the shopping, you know, cleaning, looking after the family, you know, in terms of taxi driving for the boys and things like that, looking after the dogs, of course, which have been very peaceful today, which is a nice surprise. Just the one thing to end on, I did talk about filter media earlier, and like I say, I do stock these factory supplied media, but otherwise they have just released a new range of filter media. So this will probably be a separate video in due course, but we have a really diverse range of medias here, from biological media to chemical media. So we've got activated carbon, we've got zeolite, or called zeolith here, and then there's 3 types of biological media as well. So, and this one here reminds me of Seachem Matrix actually, it looks very similar. But yeah, it's just good to see that Awase have listened, and they you know, obviously Biomasters can fit different types of media, so it makes sense that Awase are producing their own. This is my kind of maintenance station really, just a little wooden kind of shelf that's been turned horizontally. So it's got all my tools in here, my little microfiber cloth, fish food and conditioners and liquid fertilizer. So that is pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that tour of my home and my setups. Do consider subscribing if you haven't done so yet. Do leave me a comment. What's your favourite scape? What would you like to see next? Excited to do some collaborations with Ben. I'm going to turn this off now because I'm speaking directly to the camera there, I hope. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to be able to create content for you guys and hopefully inspire you, maybe educate you. It's going to be an interesting year ahead. I'm not going to reveal any things I'm planning because sometimes they don't come off and it's all a bit disappointing, but hopefully some exciting news to share in the coming months. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.